Hey, what's up guys? Richard Hutton back with another video. Now, a quick recap of who I am in case you haven't seen my previous video. I am a stock market investor, recently retired at the age of just 25. I thought I would make some YouTube videos because I want to share a few ideas. In today's video, I want to talk about the very common trading and investing mistake, which is lack of patience. I have had this problem in the past and managed to overcome it. So here's a few ideas. There's this thought experiment that if you took 1 penny and grow it at 3% per year since the time of Jesus, how much money would you have now? And the question is, why doesn't anyone have that kind of money? So if you're wondering, the answer is, if you were to take a penny, compounded at 3% per year for 2021 years, right now you would have about 800 billion. Okay, that is way more than all the money in the world. So what's the problem? Why doesn't anyone have that kind of money? 1 penny is not a lot of money. 3% per year is not a insane rate of growth. What is, a lot is the amount of time, right? So this is like a proverb that a person starts off poor, works hard, becomes rich, and thus their kids grow up without having to struggle in life. So they kind of, start wasting some of the money, and by the time their grandkids come along, they're completely spoiled and waste all the money, right? So the money doesn't last through many generations. Now, some families have managed to keep the money for multiple generations, like the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and so on. One thing they did is not leave all the money to the firstborn son. That's fucking stupid. But for example, with the Rothschilds, they would pick a successor based on who's the most competent. What a concept, right? And other families would put their money in a trust, right? So if the initial rich guy made a lot of money, he wouldn't just leave all the money as inheritance to the kids, but he would put it in a trust. It's like an investment fund run by professionals. And then the family members can only spend the interest, the gains from those investments, right? So this is a way that the Rockefeller family has kept their money for 100 years, right? Now, really big sums of money are made in the long term, right? You do sometimes hear about these uber successes, like a Mark Zuckerberg, billionaire by 23. It's possible, but it's so rare, it's like a unicorn. It's like winning the lottery, right? What is very possible is to make consistent profits and eventually you become rich. Now, I do not subscribe to the idea of buying index funds and making 8% per year, and 50 years from now, you'll have enough money to buy a new titanium hip. No, like, okay, not get rich quick in 3 months, but not wait fucking 50 years. Like, let's find the middle ground. So, in my personal example, I started trading stocks at age 14. No, I did start quite early. That was nice. I made many mistakes. I did some good stuff as well. Like in 2010, I analyzed a bunch of companies, and the 4 main stocks that I liked and I found were Amazon, Apple, Google, and eBay. Okay, 10 years later, these stocks went up anywhere from 500% to 2000%. Now, I was a dumb fuck and wasn't able to just buy and hold because the initial thing I learned was trading, so lesson learned. But it did take me just about a decade to really make it. And now at age 25, I have so much money, I never have to work again. Now, I don't have like fucking millions and billions. Right now, I have just enough to provide myself a modest income, like to pay for bills and food. But hey, I don't have to work. Like, my money works for me. And as time goes on, my investments will grow and so will my income. So that's nice. But this is one mistake that I would encourage people transcend. Short-term trading. Okay? Now, imagine life as being a game. The challenge is you are presented with all these stimuli, and the test is, will you be fooled by appearances, or will you actually realize the fundamental reality behind that, right? So in the world of dating, right, you could just be walking down the street, see a very attractive woman, right? The appearance is perfect. It's a 10 out of 10. But that's not all there is to a woman, right? If you want to have a happy, long-lasting relationship, you need more than just good looks, right? You need someone who is loving, trusting, nice to be around, funny, and so on. So all these deeper character traits, which you cannot tell just from what it looks like, right? So, in trading, you are presented with daily stock prices, daily stock movements, and constant news. This barrage, this trickery of the media, for example, is, Tesla is down 5% today because they reported sales in China in May dropped by half, reports say. Should investors be worried? Interest rates may rise, and bullshit like that. Okay. If you invest in a stock which has fundamental major competitive advantages, all you have to do is click buy and then wait. Years for the fundamentals of the company, sales, profits, so on, to grow. Like, if you buy a stock today and wait 5 years, and let's say the sales of this company triples, is it likely that the stock will be higher? Yes, it's likely. Not guaranteed. We are not talking about guarantees, but it is likely. Okay? Trying to predict short-term movements, it's possible, but unnecessarily hard. I would say don't waste your time. I mean, I tried. Just in 2017, I literally looked at 100,000 charts. Okay? Still wasn't able to learn how to make money. Only when I accepted in my heart that 20% per year is a good return, right? Because I would hear these reports, which, true, of market wizards making 80% a year, making 10% a month, making 2,000% a year. That is possible. Absolutely possible. But that's way on the far end. If you just accept 20% per year And sometimes environmental conditions are favorable and you do make way more. That's a bonus, okay? So just focus on long-term fundamentals. Or another delusion is traders and investors wanting to make consistent returns, as in every week to be profitable. It's fucking dumb, okay? In the short term, the price of a stock is unpredictable. It's based on mob psychology, right? There are people who make money trading short term, but again, I wouldn't waste my time. That's bullshit. What matters is your returns per year over a long period of time, right? I want you to accept in your heart that it might take 10 years for you to make good money. Okay? Now, with creativity, you can accelerate that. It's not like if you see an opportunity which offers way more than 20%, it's a scam. It's get rich quick. Like, no, there are a variety of companies. There are some companies which have very good potential or still undervalued, and there's a good chance that they might grow 10x in 5 years. There are some companies. It doesn't mean it's a scam, okay? But this idea of consistent returns, like week in, week out, month after month, be profitable, it's fucking stupid. Let it go. Another bullshit mistake is looking for low risk. The big problem here, and I'll make another video about it, is mistaking risk with volatility. If you have a stock, a company with multiple fundamental competitive advantages, that indicates that it's a high likelihood they will succeed in their industry in the long term. Okay? So we could call that investment safe. Now, if in the meantime the stock fluctuates a lot, what the fuck does that have to do with those fundamental competitive advantages? Right. So let me give you an example. With Tesla, that's my biggest investment. This is not investment advice. You do whatever you want, but I'm just saying. One of these fundamental competitive advantages of Tesla is that the best engineers want to go work there, right? So there's yearly this survey of graduating engineers, and they ask them, if you could work anywhere, where would you want to work, right? And Tesla consistently comes up in the number 1 or number 2 position, right? If the stock is down 30% in the last 2 months, does the stock price influence the desire of young graduating engineers to work at Tesla? No. Those engineers still want to go to work at Tesla, okay? So never mind price. Look at fundamentals. Another mistake, and this video is getting a bit long, sorry. It is what it is. Another mistake is selling too soon, right? So I saw this very often. People would buy a stock and they would know it's a good investment. And they would put these arbitrary price targets at which to sell. When it goes up 30%, I'll sell. When it doubles, I'll sell. Why? What? It's fucking stupid. Okay? Now, I may be insulting a lot of people, but understand my goal is to help people. I may be abrasive and so on. This is for entertainment, right? I don't want to be dull and boring. I want to give you good information, like education, and entertainment, right? So, better both worlds. If you buy a stock, sell it when fundamentals change. So for example, with my Tesla investment, my exit strategy is the following. Once a year, at the beginning of the year, when the annual report comes out, I look at the sales growth rate. I look at sales from last year versus 5 years ago. And I ask myself a simple question. Are sales this year at least double of what they were 5 years ago? If yes, great. I will hold the stock for another year. If no, time to sell. It literally takes me 1 minute of analysis per year. Okay. It's funny when I see other analysts, investors, hedge fund managers doing so much research, like hundreds of hours, thousands of hours, like a full 8 hours a day. I'm not saying it's wrong. You can make money that way too. But I think it's funny that it is possible to put in so little effort and get good results. Just saying. And the instant gratification, right? So it is true. People have made huge sums of money in the market. Like recently I heard of a guy who sold everything he had, took out as much credit as possible and bought Dogecoin and made $1 million. It is possible. I wouldn't recommend it. And okay, now he has $1 million. Now what? Can he repeat this feat? Can he find the next shitcoin, which will go up 700% in a month? It's like winning the lotto, right? There's been so many reports. People who win the lotto, 5 years in the future, they end up worse, right? Like divorced and drug addicts, in debt, lost all their money. Not everybody, but a lot, right? If you want to get rich and stay rich, a fundamental character trait you need to develop is patience, right? Because great, good things take time to develop, right? Discipline, a good marriage, health, wealth, these take patience, right? And the more patient you are, and the more you accept that, yes, to get rich might take 10 years. It'll take as long as it's supposed to take. I'm not here to rush it, right? You can do creative things to accelerate the process, but from a state of acceptance, it will take as long as it's supposed to take. And if you do that, you're in for a great life. Take care.